Hello there, everybody. This is my Pokemon and I Reliving the Crisis written story, and this is part 10, the result of a time adjustment video 2 of 3. And I'm not really, I'll make a recap. Now it's official that Mike's life is now back to normal, and now coming up ahead is going to be Selby's movie presentation, which that should be very interesting. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, what could possibly be after this? Well, there is a couple of things. This is part 10, besides before this. Before this is like the main story, like what happened. And beyond this is like, it's not really an epilogue, but it's like what happens. It's like what happens after Mike realizes everything's back to normal. It's like the goodies. It's like the little extras in the end. So let's continue on the second video of part 10, starting off with that nice little diamond mark. I finished my soup in about 15 minutes, but I kept my eye on the window for a half an hour more. I knew nothing could go wrong, but it was still satisfying to look at the good times that the team members were having. Since I was done with my own meal, I decided that it was best to head out there. I needed to talk to Celebi about her movie presentation anyway. I cleaned up my plate and walked out the front door. A lot of team members were finishing up their meals too. Afterward, they still stayed in their groups and chatted among one another. I walked over to the group and the group Celebi was in the talk room. However, it turned out that someone else was eager to talk to me. "Oh, hey buddy, come here. I have some good news for you." I couldn't ignore him, so I walked to and stood next to him to hear his news. "What is it, Big Yellow Buddy?" "Hey, I like that nickname." "Oh, you do?" Yeah, I just thought of it not too long ago, actually. It can be my personal nickname to you." This is where I first thought of the name Big Yellow Buddy, and this is a little trivia for anyone reading. Ever since I wrote it down in here, that was the nickname I permanently gave the Dragonite that's also on my channel, and so far, 10 people approve of Big Yellow Buddy. How can you not love that name? It defines who he is. Big Yellow Buddy. He's not your average Dragonite. But yet, he's still the perfect Dragonite for Mr. Jum. Anyway, little trivia section over. Continuing on to the story. That wasn't fully true. I have thought about that name a couple of times before now. I just never said it out loud. "Neat. Call me that any time." He gives me a nice close smile. "But anyway, on to my good news. I relearned Water Gun. Now we can be more prepared for any more unexpected fires." "Relearned Water Gun? You mean you once knew it before?" "I didn't know Dragonite could learn that move." "Yeah, I can. I got rid of it to try out Dragon Rush. However, I don't really like it very much. It's not the right move for me." "Good thinking, buddy. I like that move way better for a Dragonite as well. At least now we might not have to pay much more fire damage." "About that, Mike, you don't have to worry about any charges for the tree that burnt down. I heard that the neighbor wanted to tear that tree down because it was old and dried out. It was too much of a hazard to keep it for more than a month." "Oh, well, great. Well, that doesn't mean that Moltres is off the hook, though. That bird needs to listen to more than just himself." The group chuckles to the statement. "Oh, Celebi, it's time to discuss your presentation. When did you want to show it?" "Celebi has a presentation to show? Ooh, what about?" Well, I don't know if you heard, but I like to make movies as a hobby. I time travel to find the world's most memorable moments." "Wow, that's amazing. That sounds like a fun hobby to get into." Okay, that's pretty funny. I just realized that, yeah, that Dragonite says that sounds like a fun hobby to get into, and look what Team Monty Night Productions does. That honestly is a coincidence, because I wrote that line before I started the YouTube channel. You gotta love how life turns out sometimes. Anyway, that sounds like a fun hobby to get into. It is. Now, what's the movie about? It's about Mike's adventure to save Alto Mare and the LSRT. Most of the group had confused-looking faces. They couldn't think of a time at all tomorrow where the LSRT needed saving. Wait, are you talking about that adventure we had in Alto Mare together? The one where you went back in time? Yep, the very one. I recorded the whole adventure secretly. The group was shocked to hear this. A time-traveling adventure to save an island from destruction and to save the LSRT? The group grew very curious now to see the presentation. Even I was surprised to see that the Latias still remembered the adventure. I guess Tielga didn't reset their memories on that. Okay, we should probably get and set up the movie in the backyard. How long is it? Oh, I have a lot of footage. Almost your entire adventure. But I will only show bits and pieces of important parts. I wonder if we can get a projection screen. As a matter of fact, we can. There's a place down the road that we can rent one for the day. Nice! Let's go get it then. Then Latios and I walked out of the group and towards the store. The place was only a mile down the road, so it wouldn't take long to get the projection system and the screen to go with it. In about a half hour, we got the items and brought them back to my house. By then, all the LSRT members knew about the upcoming movie and grew curious along with the patient. I knew that we had a limited time to set the projection up. Meanwhile, as we carried the items through the front yard, my dad arrived home from his job and parked his car in the driveway. As he got out of his car, he noticed the projection equipment we were carrying. Hey, kid, what's all that stuff you got there? Oh, I'm setting up a temporary theater in the backyard. Celebi has a movie that she wants to show the team. Wait, Celebi? I never knew you had that Pokemon on your team. Well, that's because you joined only a few hours ago. Celebi must have heard us talking about her, because then she came over to us and waved to Dad. Wow. How do you keep finding all these rare Pokemon? I give him a shrug. Oh, by the way, Latios, thank you for purchasing those berries at my store. Business was going a bit slow today until you came along. Oh, you bought the berries from Dad, Latios? Yes, I figured that if you were going to buy berries, we might as well help out your father's business at the same time. You gave us a small discount as well. Oh, wow, that's nice of you guys. Alright, now we should get the screen set up so we can get the movie started. Agreed, let's go. Alright, you have fun with your team there, kid. I'll see you later on at the house. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I should say that because it'd be rude not to, right? We then go to our destinations. It took Latios and I only a half an hour or more to set up the equipment. And of course, Dragonite felt like he had to help us too. But with his help and the aid of an extension cord, the preparation was all set and we were ready to go. Okay, Celebi, the projection screen is ready. Oh, goody! I honestly can't wait. I even have my friends Porygon and Porygon 2 here to help set up the playback settings, the best settings. I looked behind her and noticed the two Pokemon. I never even knew they showed up until now. I don't know how Porygon and Porygon 2 talks, so I'm just gonna use normal voices. Leave it up to us. We are experts on technology. Yeah, we are always here to aid Celebi on our movie projects, and glad to do it. Oh, wow. Well, feel free to stay for the movie if you like. Oh, and Latias, Dragonite, go get the members from the front and tell them to come back here for the movie. The three of them agree and fly to the front of the yard. I could see the LSRT members come pouring in and filling up most of the yard. While this was going on, I had a quick thought pop into my head, and that thought turned into a question for Celebi. Hey, Celebi, I just realized something. Were you the one who made the previous movie on Crisis of Alto Mare? Yep, I sure did. That too was an exciting adventure. But honestly, I think this one is a better movie. The ending is more what I'm looking for. I can agree with you there. The team members were all accounted for, and they all took their seats in the front of the garden. Garden? I mean screen, dumbass. Well, there goes my non-swearing streak. I could hear them all talking about their guesses from the movie. Alright, the setup is complete, Celebi. Yes, I even installed a scene select feature for you to use, so you can choose what to show. Oh, wow, thanks so much. Now we will take our seats in the yard here to watch the movie. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. As Celebi went over to the projection system and her camera get ready to start the movie, I asked her one last question. Hey, Celebi, what was that special power that you were going to tell me about? She looked in my direction and smiled. Well, it works when others who are in the movie watch it. Whoever watches it will remember anything that happened during that part of the movie. It's like a magic memory spark. Oh, I see. I didn't quite get what was so special about that. Of course the Latias and I will remember the adventure we had. We didn't really need the aid of the movie for that. The only thing that they won't remember is the new future and the other alternate timelines. Okay, new teammates, the movie is starting. A crowd of members stopped talking now to watch the movie. The feature presentation was here. Okay, now some parts of the movie I'll explain so you can understand it. And the first scene that was displayed was me walking at Great Brook Farms. I was surprised that Selby followed me here to record. Now, all of you know that Mike went up for a walk this morning, but a lot more happened to him during that walk than you think. What's so special about this? Hey, let's turn the commentary off, thank you. Mike was a little stressed out and worried about the crisis of Alto Mare, because he thought that his friends Latias and Latios didn't deserve to go through all of that. He wished that he could prevent it from happening. How does Selby know all this? Her knowledge of the whole thing baffled me. Little did he know that his wish would come true. Look! Then, in the movie, a large blast of white light hits me while I'm in the field and I disappeared. That must have been Dialga's roar of time, and it made everybody gasp when they saw it. Even Moltres grew stunned from seeing this. What just happened to him? The next scene shows me waking up next to Lorenzo at Alto Mare. He was sent back in the past at Alto Mare. The unknown forces sent him back in time. What? No way. That's a load of nonsense. That's not even possible. This movie's obviously fiction. No, Moltres. This is all real. We met Mike in the past and he aided us during the crisis. That must have been a stunt double or look-alike or something. Time traveling is impossible. I mean, who can do that? I can do that. That's how I was even able to film this movie. Oh, well yeah, I meant besides you. Just look at Mike, that's him. It looks exactly like him, too. The crowd agrees with her. Well, just please be quiet and watch the movie, Moltres. Well, this is the part where Mike meets some new friends, and he befriends Latias and Latios in the past. Remember, in the past, they don't know who he is yet. At this point, I'm not going to go into big detail about the movie because, well, you just read about the whole adventure already, and hearing it twice would most likely bore you. There is one thing that I will mention through all this. Remember that I just so happened to find that Team Rocket badge on my way to saving Latias? Remember part number 2. I talked to Selby about that because she skipped the show in that part, and this is what I learned about. Oh yeah, that was a lucky find, wasn't it? It was almost as if someone dropped it there on purpose for you to get it. It took me a second to figure out the message behind her sentence. Wait, don't tell me you put that there on the path I was walking on. Okay, I won't. She smiled with an innocent smile. Thanks. That really helped me out. You're welcome. You know how much I like happy endings and outcomes. Well, I will agree with you. I like them too. Yeah, she put the wallet there for me. I always wondered why I found it, and that was the reason. I sure was lucky to have Selby help me out. I had no clue where she got the badge from, and I didn't even question it. Instead, I watched the remainder of the first time travel adventure. I will say by watching this was seeming like a flashback on screen. I remember the adventure well. The crowd was interested to see the adventure so far. Now it was getting to the part where the thieves were about to capture Latios. When they saw the result, they were standing on their toes. Now, of course, Selby only had time to show the most important parts. We didn't have time for the whole adventure. She showed how I saved Latios and how I saved the soldiers from being broken, thus saving the island for the first time. Ah, yes, I do love how the wave was prevented there. It's a shame that it had some side effects for Mike's life. It sure did. After Mike returned to the present time, he realized that he changed his life. Zapdos sees the part where I'm talking to the legendary birds, Linu and Pidgeot in my room. That's right. Mike told us that it was all a dream when we really went back in time. Yes, I remember now. He did not tell us about what has happened until we were at Seaphone's Island on our way to Alto Mare. Wait, how did they know about all these parts in the movie if Celebi didn't show them? And how did Latias know about the timeline that was no longer existing? Oh, the movie. That's the power of the movie. Whoever watches it will remember what happened regardless of what timeline it is. Wow. I didn't know how the power worked, but all I did know is that it was one amazing power indeed. I can't believe that one change at Alto Mare made the 5 of us the only Pokemon that was with Mike. That made the LSRT no longer exist. Yeah, but why did that affect the LSRT? Because Latios was the creator of the team, and unlike the current past, he didn't come home with them. That's right. And that is why he made that trip to go to Alto Mare, to ask Latios to remake the team. But unfortunately, we could not go home with him because my sister and I needed to guard the island. Yep. Now the movie was showing me in the poker class where we were discussing Legends Week. This part I honestly almost forgot. Hey, why is Mike in school? Mike used to go to this school way back when he was a Pokemon trainer. I remember those days. I cannot believe he used to be one of them before he changed his ways. So in this timeline, Mike's trainer life was still active due to the LSRT never being created. I remember when Mike was so eager to catch Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, he just wouldn't give up on catching them either. I suddenly grew embarrassed and nervous, and the fact that I was standing next to Ho-Oh didn't make the feelings any better. I looked at him to see that he was staring back at me. Sorry. Well, no offense to you, Mike, but your past life disgusts me. Well, even as a trainer catching us back then, Mike never treated us badly. Yes, we were in our Pokeballs here and there, but he never ordered us to do anything. He always asked us. No, that's not true. He's ordered us to do things before. No, not including battles, Moltres. That doesn't count. Well, it's just amazing how you changed your life over the years. For the better, our lad. Yeah, this team is a great idea. I agree with all of their statements. I also noticed something during their chat. Comparing both timelines up until this point means that it should still be Legends Week this week. If this were true, then it wouldn't be a bad thing to have me and my team participate in that. I bet my old classmates and my old peppy teacher would love that. Plus, I could show off my team a little. I would just need to run that idea off to the team. First, I would need to check to see if the prediction was true. I walk up to Celebi. Hey, Celebi, real quick, could you do me a favor? Sure, what is it? Could you go to the locked school and check to see if it's still Legends Week in this timeline? Oh, okay, be back in a flash. She then teleports away. The other members noticed that she did so and stopped talking to each other. Where did Celebi go? She's checking something for me real quick. In a matter of seconds, she reappears back in front of the projection system. Well, Mike, you're right. It is Legends Week at that school. Why did you want to know that? Well, I'm thinking of taking the LSRT to that school to participate in the Legends Week. That way, the students there have the opportunity to experience seeing and learning about legendary Pokemon live. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, me too. No way. I don't like that. Oh. The crowd looks at Ho-Oh. If I step 1 foot in that danger zone, then you know that a rotten trainer will try to catch me. And probably some of you too. That's true. Some of those humans there are incredibly greedy. It may not be safe. Yeah, I guess I wasn't thinking about that. I know that the adults in that school respect the team, especially my old teacher, Mrs. Coase. She loves my team. I honestly trust this. If we all group together, then there would be less of a chance that we could get caught due to us keeping an eye on the students. They should be able to learn about us and have the opportunity to see our behaviors and abilities live. That would be a good deed in our part by giving them the experience of a lifetime. Articuno's speech was spirit-lifting. It made more members want to go to the school for the good deed. Also, if I told the principal there that to force the students to see the team empty-handed with no Pokeballs, I'm sure that they'll follow that. I suppose it wouldn't be fair for those who want to learn about us if we don't go. We just need to stick together. And perhaps you could all show off your moves and abilities if you like. I'm in. The whole crowd laughs to a sting. What? How predictable you are, Moltres. Hold on a sec. Okay, I should have known better than to start a recording right before dinner was gonna be ready.
Oh man, this is embarrassing.
Okay, so actually, where would I leave off? Articuno. Alright, I think I'm right here. Okay, I will give you all a message on what time to arrive at my house tomorrow. I would love it if you all could make it. Now, let's get back to the movie. Go ahead, Selby. Alright. Now we are getting to the part where Mike discovers what sent him back in time. Ooh, what is it? You'll see. It's when he goes back to Great Brook Farm. Yes, he wanted to release some stress, so he asked me to take him there. When he goes wandering into the forest by the field he woke up in, he discovers the truth. It was a Pokémon that sent him back in time. The crowd of curious members all watched and waited. Soon it showed me confronting Dialga for the first time. The crowd grew shocked, and all were questioning it. That's Dialga! Isn't that the Pokémon that controls time? Indeed. Wow! That's unbelievable. But it's true! And after learning this, Mike decides to try to save the LSRT I don't know why it says B. By going into the Alto Mare from here. Is that when Mike asked Latias and Latios to come home with him? Yep. And as we know, they turned him down. Some humans who were looking for Mike on Alto Mare brought him home soon after because his parents were worried about him. I noticed that Celebi skipped the part where Zapdos goes on an uncontrollable rage. It was most likely for the better. On the way home, he bumps into a familiar friend of his. That was me. I remember that moment. I feel bad for not trusting him that time. That's okay, Lugia. You didn't know who I was there. At least now I do. The next day we meet Ho-Oh. You do? Yep, he sure does. Take a look. She then skips ahead to the moment where I met Ho-Oh in the new future. That's right. I did see you that day. And I attacked you without any care. I feel quite guilty. Well, that's because you thought I was a rotten trainer. And in that timeline I was. You aren't rotten, Mike. I trust you now. You are one human that I do like. Thanks. Unfortunately, Ho-Oh turned him down too. And this made Mike very upset. I guess Celebi tweaked the truth a bit. I know that Ho-Oh was captured by that punk of a trainer in the new future. Mike then decides to go to Dialga and Great Brook Farms again to see if he can help get his life back. Doesn't Dialga live in a place called Temple Tower, though? Yes, yeah, he does. But he was meeting someone else he knew in the park at the time. Also, he was taking a bit of a rest in the peaceful forest. Ah, gotcha. So now here Mike is confronting Dialga again. Dialga notices who Mike is, and also that his Roll of Time ability has accidentally sent Mike to the past for the first time. Yeah, he said that I was never supposed to he said I was never supposed to be sent back in time at all, and he agreed to help me get the LSRT and my life back. Yep. So Dialga gave Mike a special hourglass that allowed him to travel through time, and then it's back to the past we go. Really? Again? Then it showed me using the hourglass and appearing in the museum where the soldier ends up breaking. Oh, I remember that. Mike was so scared for us. Yes, the soldier did end up breaking here. One small change can bring a huge outcome. Yeah, and I recall that Mike felt so bad for what you needed to do from there that he volunteered to ride on you as you stopped the wave. Then it showed the wave-stopping moment and me getting shot up into the air from the blast of psychic energy. It was a scary moment for most, except, well, that wasn't very smart. I put my hand on my forehead. Facepalm. I felt a little ashamed. Hey, I was in a moment back there, okay? Yep. But look at that massive fall. You could have gotten yourself killed. I know. Ugh. But his life was saved at that exact moment. A heroic being saw the crash in the water and dove after him to rescue him from drowning. Now it showed a figure diving after me to save me. Moments later, it showed the figure again return to the surface with me in its paws. I don't remember this because I was unconscious. That's me. I remember saving Mike there. Yup, you sure did, Dragonite. You were the one who rescued Mike from drowning and saved his life. The crowd gave a small clap towards Dragonite for his deed. Wow, I feel really good about myself. You should. You're still my hero, Big Yellow Buddy. Moltres then notices the part where Dragonite flies away, leaving me on the tiny island. So do I. Hero? He just left. Don't even think about it, Moltres. I'm just pointing out that, enough of your comments. Keep them to yourself. So the next morning, a nice Lapras gave him a ride to Alto Mare. On the way, though, they bumped into Dragonite again. At this point, Mike didn't know that he saved him until Lapras told him as she dropped him off. And as soon as they left where I was, I came looking for them. I found Mike at the beach, and that's when we became best friends. I found Mike at the beach, and that's when we became friends. Again. Yup. Soon enough, Dragonite helps Mike and find his hourglass at the museum, and Mike time travels again. While Celebi was discussing the third past in detail, Dragonite, who was sitting in front of me, turns around and speaks to me softly. It looks like you kept your promise to me, Mike. He smiles at me. You're right. I did. I smiled back at him. Now Celebi showed what I did with the citrus berries and how that impacted the island. Also, she showed how Annie and Oakley captured the Latias and me later on. I was amazed to see all the footage that Celebi got. She then showed how Annie got me out of the cell along with Latios, and how Latios got captured again later on. Wait, what happens to my brother and me here? I don't remember it. Neither do I. I noticed that the event was coming up in the movie, and since the Latias don't remember anything about it, thank God, I do not want anyone seeing that nightmare of a scene. I quickly walked over to Celebi to prevent her from showing it. Hey, Celebi, you didn't get any footage on the event, did you? Oh, I did. Well, I ask you not to show any bit of that, please. That horrid scene should never be viewed. It makes me sick just thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It is too scary to watch. I'll skip it. Hey, you're skipping a part of the movie. What gives? Yes, this part is too scary and sickening to show. It's just not a healthy scene. I'll be the judge of that. Quit hiding the truth, Mike, and show that scene. No, we are not showing that scene because I know it'll offend and shame others. It's for the sake of Latias and Latios, and also for the LSRT. Now enough. Ugh, it can't be that bad. Especially not worse than you almost killing yourself. Stop being a wuss and just play it. At this point I was fuming. I growled loudly and start to stomp my way towards Moltres in the back. The entire crowd had their eyes on me, and they waited to see what my response to Moltres would be. I stop next to him and point at him, and he stares back at me with a smug look. You better shut your beak, or else you'll be finding yourself another team. Now enough of your comments, Moltres. We are not showing that part of the movie. I start to walk back to my seat. Wow, get personal, much? I turn around and give him an angry look, and he goes to a disturbed look himself. Fine, I'll be quiet. Sheesh. I then turn back around and go back to my seat. I could hear the Pokemon I was next to talk about the scene a scene of our own, and we just performed. He really needs to not talk more often. His comments aggravate me too. Why does he do that? I honestly think he just gets amused by seeing other negative reactions towards his comments. I wouldn't doubt that. Should I continue with the movie? Yes, go ahead, Celebi. Oh, okay. Well, now I will get to the part where Mike finds the hourglass again. You'll never guess where it was. There was nothing more that was worth showing into deep detail until the end. Celebi showed how I went back in time for the fourth time. Pardon me. And showed what happened in that solid timeline, including the revival of Latios. She now showed the part where I was in Lorenzo's house and the guest room and was about to be sent to the present. So this is where Mike's journey starts to conclude, and you'll see how Mike returns to the future. The time-traveling scene followed her statement. That looks similar to the first time travel. Did Dialga send him to the present? Yep, he sure did. Hey, that's me again! I remembered that him and I took a look for Dialga in the woods near that field. I remember that as it was yesterday. Actually, that was just this morning. She smiles. Oh yeah. And now, for our final scene, we see Mike returning home to his friends and family. The LSRT is saved and everything is back to normal. A happy ending. The movie then stops right there. The crowd claps and gives small cheers. As soon as the claps stop, Articuno asks a question. Now we know that Mike returned to the present because of Dialga, but how did that fix the timeline? I can answer that. Dialga also fixed and mingled the timeline so everything in the present would be back to normal. He played a big part in saving the LSRT. He also apologized to me for sending me back in time. I still thank Dialga greatly for fixing everything. I say that we all should. The crowd nods and agrees. Hey, is Dialga a member of the LSRT too? No, I did ask him, but he didn't want to join. Sorry, team. You know that I won't force him to. Aww. The crowd was a little bummed, but they still thanked Dialga for what he did for the team. Thanks for the presentation, Celebi. My pleasure. I'm glad you liked it. Alright, team. Now in a half an hour or so, I will send you a time to arrive back here tomorrow. Please check your Pokémons and then show up here next morning. I'll appreciate it a bunch. For now, have a great evening. The team then all emerged out of the group and started to go their separate ways. The sun at this point was setting now. We spent a lot of hours watching Celebi's movie. Over 5 hours, I think. I guess we will be on our way too. Yes, great job with your movie, Celebi. We'll see you later. Thanks, bye. The only Pokemon that were left in my yard were Latias, Growlithe, and Celebi. Latios and I noticed that we still had to take the equipment back, so the two of us disable everything to start to carry it out. Oh, hey Mike, before you do that, I have something to ask you. Yes? Would you mind if I stayed over your house for this one night? I would like to be with you all. Oh, sure. You can sleep in my room if you like. But thanks. It'll only be for one night, though. After that, I'll go back to my home. That's fine. Stay as long as you like. You, Latias, and Growlithe can go inside now if you like. Latios and I will return these things and meet you there soon. We start to complete what was on our to-do list. One was to message the team time to arrive. I chose 9 in the morning. The other was to return the rented objects back to the store. By the time Latios and I got back to the house, it was dark. It was a long day for us all, so the 5 of us decided to call it a night. Growlithe went to his bed in the living room while the rest of us went to my room. We all got ready for a good night's sleep. I crawled into my bed. The Latias lay on the floor next to my bed, and Celebi picked a nice spot to levitate sleep in the corner of the room. I then turned off the light and found a comfortable position. Pardon me with the freaking raspiness. That's annoying. Okay, now I feel better. Brother, watching that movie made me think of all the good times we had on Alto Mare. Do you think we could ever visit it there again? Of course we can, sis. Mike said we could come and go as we please. That's right, he did. Exactly. So we definitely will visit our home again. But when the time is right, though. Yeah, we can't leave our teammates just in case they need our help. Indeed. Hearing their conversation made me think of Alto Mare myself. It made me think of the Latias in their garden home, too. I did for a while before I eventually decided to turn over and go to sleep. A few minutes after it did, I hear a tapping sound that seemed like it came from my window. It made the 4 of us lift our heads and look in that direction. I get up on my bed and crawl over to the window beside it. I open the blinds to see a familiar face. It was Dragonite outside my window, and he was flapping his wings and hovering in the air. I opened the window to talk to him. Dragonite? What are you doing here? Did I wake you up? I'm sorry. No, you didn't. You weren't asleep quite yet. I'm feeling a little lonely sleeping out here by myself. I was wondering, could I sleep next to you? If we have enough room in here, you can. There's already Latias and Celebi in here. Oh, wow. This spot is popular, I see. Well, I can sleep sitting up, so it won't take up much room. There's room across from me, Dragonite. Ah, okay. I guess you can come in then. But wait, how are you going to get inside? There's no way that you'll fit through the window. Oh, yeah. I can help! She then disappears from her spot and reappears beside Dragonite. Just hold on to my hand and I can teleport you inside with me. Really? Okay. She then places his paw on Celebi's. Ready? Here we go! Then the two of them disappear from outside and reappear in my room, leaving temporary sparkles of light. Whoa, that was weird. Yeah, teleporting does have a funny feel to it. I then close the window and blinds and return to my sleeping spot. Thanks, Celebi. You're welcome. He goes over to his spot near my desk in the corner and sits down. Celebi goes over to her corner, too. Oh, and thanks for letting me sleep in your room, buddy. I love the company. Anytime, Big L, buddy. Sweet dreams to you all. With all of us keeping each other company, we felt secure and relaxed. We got to our comfy positions and began to rest for the upcoming day. I was looking forward to it. That and a peaceful sleep, because I knew that the worries and stress of the crisis were all gone and behind me at last. I believe that'll be it for then. 35 minutes, but I know it's for the better. So, the next part will contain a couple more interesting things that happens to the LSRT. One of it should be obvious. It should be going to the trainer school to see what happens there. And that has a couple of things that I also wrote as kind of like bonus material too, which is fun. I enjoyed writing that. I actually enjoyed writing this whole thing. Once again, if you have any comments on anything, any questions to me, anything, then feel free to say them, because I love hearing comments from you all. And with all like the feedback, it really just makes me reflect back on my 7-year project, so thank you very much. Whether it's positive or negative feedback, it still helps me reflect on it. Even if it's negative, I can use that to help me write better essays in the future. Know what I mean? Good. Alrighty, so that'll be the end of the second video. So, the third video will be the final video. This will be the final My Pokemon and I after a year something later. Yeah, I think I've been uploading parts of this since, like, November of 2012. Yeah. That's a long time. So, once again, thank you, and I will see you in part 10, video 3, the final video, coming up next.